And the next recipe, which is extremely hearty and comforting and soothing for the winter months, is chicken and dumplings. For that you need half a kilogram to 1 kilogram of boneless chicken meat, bite-sized pieces, chopped carrot, about 3 carrots. Alternatively, you can also add in 1 or 2 sticks of celery along with the carrots. You need 1 onion chopped into fine pieces. You need what's called poultry seasoning. It's just sold as chicken seasoning in the supermarkets. You need chicken stock. You need flour. The best flour is this one, self-raising flour, because even the pregnant patients with diabetes in my clinic have told me that blood sugars don't go too high when they use this flour compared to other flours. You need either of vegetable oil or clarified butter to cook this meal in, and you'll also need ordinary salt and pepper. So that's the recipe for chicken and dumplings recipe, very hearty for the winter. First, to make the dumplings. This is about 125 grams of that self-raising flour into this little ordinary soup bowl. And if you are not too sure about content, just fill in half of the bowl. On top of it, you can see some of the clarified butter. You can see it's still cold, it's not melted, it doesn't need to be melted. You can use about 2 to 3 tablespoons worth of the butter onto it. Now to this, add in a pinch of salt. To that, add in some pepper. And then mix all this together with a spoon or with a food processor. I prefer a spoon. Then to that, add half a cup of water. So this is the standard sized mug, only half of it of water, not 1 cup of water because that actually wrecks the recipe. So only half cup of water. After adding the water to the clarified butter and the flour, this is how it should appear. And the word for it is a dough, spelled as D-O-U-D-G-H, D-O-U-G-H, dough. This is how the dough should appear. The next step is to divide this dough into about 4 or 5 pieces of any shape you like. You can put specific shapes you like. You can put any ordinary spherical shapes. And that is the unbaked dumplings. And after baking that, it becomes dumplings. So now I'm going to divide this dough into 5 pieces, which I prefer, and I'm going to place it in this sort of aluminium foil, and I'm going to place all this into the oven, and I'm going to bake it at around 200 degrees for about 20 minutes in this, and that will create the dumplings. Here are the dumplings made out of the dough. I've taken 6 random pieces in any shape, and I'm about to add it into the oven, which is fully heated on, fully turned on at 200 degrees for about 10 or 20 minutes. You can go up to 40 minutes if you prefer. There aren't any strict rules. I'm going to transfer all the dumplings into the oven. And after half an hour it will be all neatly baked, just like you're baking cookies or biscuits or cakes. The next step is actually heating all the chicken in vegetable oil. And the reason we use vegetable oil is because olive oil makes the recipe bad. Olive oil will burn. And therefore one must only use vegetable oil for heating the chicken at this point. Any ordinary temperature. Once the oil is starting to burn, then we add all the chicken. You can add them in batches or you can add them all in one go. We don't want to steam it. We want dark brown and crispy look to the chicken on all sides. You can even use turkey meat in this recipe instead, alternatively. But we want a very good smell and we want it to look very crispy. That's the time you know when you must take it out of the pan. So I'm going to add the chicken to the oil now. And I'm going to heat the chicken for the next 10 minutes. Alternate versions. One alternate version is you can add in some onions before you add in the chicken into the boiling oil if you want the chicken to be cooked a little bit more. Sometimes I do add in a few bits of onions, about half an onion, But otherwise, the real onions for this recipe are used at a separate stage in boiling later after the chicken boiling process. At this stage, while the chicken is boiling, you can add in the salt and pepper. But there's another thing which you can do, which is called marination. Marination means overnight when you cut the chicken, you can add in the garlic, salt, and keep it in the fridge overnight. It adds it a more spicier and more delicate, tastier taste. When you can boil the chicken and eat it the next day, it tastes more better. Now this dish, you can see the final product at this stage. This is how it should look like. Fully boiled, brown on all sides. At this stage we can stop boiling the chicken and put it aside in another pan, and we start creating the carrots, onion, celery mixture. Phase 2 of this cooking, we start with the vegetable oil again. Heat it in a pan until it's boiling. Now to this add the one onion which is fully chopped. To this you can add the chopped carrots, and if you want celery, you can also use celery at this point, 1 or 2 sticks of celery. Cook them together, and after this has been cooked, then we add the recently made chicken mixture which I've taken out of the pan, just boiled a few moments ago. That goes into this once it is fully completed. Once you see that the onion carrot mixture is cooked, now to this mixture add in the chicken which you have just boiled. It contains its own stock as well. Nevertheless, this is a chicken stock tube. Here's a version from the supermarket. This is it opened. You can add one of that into this mixture, and also add in about 3 or 4 sprinkles worth of chicken mixture at this stage. This is the chicken seasoning specific mixture. It contains its own salt and pepper along with other herbs.